can you survive death because of me? What can you withstand? Because you have come to the last day where Christianity must become a witness. And everyone that can be a true Christian must be baptized with the spirit of martyrdom. What can you withstand for Jesus? If you have not come to that point where your conviction is that strong, you need an awakening. Because it may not happen to you, but Jesus knows those who will not deny him. He knows them. That's why even before persecution came, he told Judas, that which you must do, do quickly. He knows the ones that have gotten there. So when we teach subjects like this, we are not saying calamity will befall men, but we are telling you that before you leave here, make sure you come to a point of conviction. And like Paul, you say, for me to live is Christ. For me to die is gain. My walk with God have reached a point where I can give anything up for God, including my life. That is the Christianity of the last day. And until the body of Christ is awoken to that dimension, we don't have a witness to our generation. Now, the Christianity that was handed over to us, they received this baptism. That's why they survived. Because when the early church started, some of them lived in caves. I read the story of the transition of the Bible that we read today. There was a man who had the last copy of the Bible. They hunted him like animal. He escaped until he crossed 4 cities. And then he looked for another faithful. Because then they used to call them faithfuls. If you look for faithfuls now, you may not find one. When he found that faithful and handed the Bible to the faithful. Now, that was the only copy of the Bible they had. When he handed it over, that was the same day he was caught. And when they caught him, they know it's a waste of time to punish a faithful. Because faithfuls will never change their conviction. So they don't waste their time punishing them. It's a waste. You know, if they catch you now, they can threaten you because they know you may change your mind. They will slap you. They will hit you something on your shoulder and break your bone. And some people, when they carry the iron to hit on their shoulder, they say, sorry, I changed my mind. I changed my mind. Those are the Christians today. But the early Christian, when they caught the man, they brought him out, sat him on a chair, and they lined up his family. Where is the copy of the Bible? The man said he will not tell. They brought his first son out, shot him. They don't ask you twice, where is the copy of the Bible? He said he will not tell. They brought his second son out, beheaded him. You don't know what the last day looked like. It's not going to happen to you. But I'm telling you the era that we are living in. What your conviction can survive. Because when you go to heaven and you see men with crowns of life, they paid the price for it. Because the reason we may still gather like this is because there is no gunshot. The reason we may still gather like this is because there is no famine. It's because there is no persecution. Because when persecution comes, our churches will go back to online churches. You know, when we started meeting online, gullible Christians began to say, we said it, all this GO, they will not get offering again. So they think the reason we gather together is for offering. They don't know the gathering together of the saints is where God commanded his blessings. They don't know that the gathering together of the saints is a gate where spiritual laws and legislation take place. But the reason why COVID and Ebola can make us disperse in the first place is because we don't have conviction. So men who should bring life to their generation are protecting themselves. They are so afraid that they will die. There's no conviction. I share sympathy with all those who suffer that death. But I'm telling you that the body of Christ must be awakened to a point where we are not threatened by sickness. We are not threatened by persecution. We are not threatened by death. We are excited people. So when we come to church, we want loud praise and worship. And we dance and sweat. And we think we have done something. The same people dancing. If you hear one terror or threatening news, you will not see them in church again for 1 year. Because they are just excited people. God can't bank on them. In salvation, Jesus paid the price. But in eternal reward, we will pay the price. You may not be killed. Your family may not be killed. But can your conviction survive death? If death were brought on the table, can you still call Jesus Lord? Or you only call Jesus Lord because Jesus can bring you millions. Jesus can bring you breakthrough. Jesus can bring you deliverance. It means you are not part of those that God can rely on. Because this is not public sermon. This was Jesus talking to his own disciples. There were messages Jesus preached when there was a multitude. A message of multiplying bread. That's for the multitude. When there is multitude, Jesus healed the sick. But when it came to his own disciples, they are talking about matters of eternal inheritance. These are the kinds of things he taught his disciples. When God is looking for men, he's not looking for the dancers. He's looking for the martyrs. Those who will go all the way for him. Those who will endure. Those are the men God is looking for. When people are walking around you, they can call you Rankadede. It doesn't move you. You are looking for the man who cannot betray you. Even when he's offered the best thing of his life, he will value his relationship with you more than silver and gold. That's the kind of man you can walk with. Jesus is not looking for a dancing church. Jesus is not looking for a singing church. Will the church dance? Yes. Will the church sing? Yes. But Jesus is looking for a church that have the power to witness. That's why when he sent us out, he didn't send us as singers. He didn't send us as preachers. He didn't send us as worshippers. He didn't send us as dancers. He sent us as what? Witnesses. Martyrs. And when you see the church that Jesus raised, all of them died. Not one denied Jesus. The churches we pastor today, all of them will run. You won't find anyone. But the church of Jesus, they stood their ground. I read church history. When Peter was to be crucified, he said, I'm not worthy to be crucified upright like my master. He said, when you crucify me, turn it upside down. That's a disciple. A disciple is not a singer. A disciple is a man who has crossed the threshold of conviction. He will never turn back, no matter what happens. You know, when they came to Jesus first, they said, we have left everything to follow you. What do we have to gain? They were apprentices. When they became real disciples, the goal was not what do we gain. The goal now was, what can we give for you? Father, even if it's my life, I can give it up. That's the church of the last day. And the reason we cry awakening is because a time will come when you can't preach.